What do you think? Which of these sentences are correct? Ich komme aus dem Supermarkt oder ich komme von dem Supermarkt oder ich komme vom Supermarkt. Which one is correct? Actually, both are correct. Both are perfectly fine. Both are common used, but what is the difference between those two and when do you have to use which? Die Präpositionen aus und von. And by the way, important, both these prepositions, they use the dative case. So the question we have is always this woher. You know this already from A1. From the beginning when you started to learn German, common question you learned, woher kommst du? Woher kommst du? Where are you from? And here we ask usually for the origin of somebody. But in this lesson here, we talk more about when you ask somebody, where were you just before? Woher kommst du gerade? Where were you just before? And then you have to answer with either aus or vom. What you will learn in this video is describing where somebody or something is coming from. And of course, the difference in which situation you have to use aus and in which situation you have to use von. Often you can use both, but there is a difference between those two, which you will learn later in this video. We start with aus. Aus is this from, or maybe sometimes the better translation or easier is this out of something. Why? Because aus is used when you're coming from a place or out of a place that you can enter. So any place you can enter, you can also leave. And then you can use this aus. So it's mostly used together with buildings. You can go into a building, you can also leave a building. With venues, countries and cities. Machen wir ein paar Beispiele. Ich komme aus Spanien. I'm coming from Spain. I'm from Spain. Ich komme aus der Schweiz. Ich komme aus Brasilien. All these are countries where you're from. So you talk about the origin. You can also use cities. Ich komme aus Berlin. Ich komme aus Paris. Ich komme aus New York. Now we can use it for buildings. Ich komme aus der Schule. Ich komme aus der Schule. I'm coming from the school. You can also use it for rooms. You can enter a room, right? So you can also leave a room. Ich komme aus der Küche. Ich komme aus der Küche. I'm coming from the kitchen. And, for example, a supermarket is a building. Ich komme aus dem Supermarkt. I'm coming from the supermarket. Now, there is another way I want you to show, which might help you also to kind of memorize it. Aus is the opposite of in or into. So whenever you can use the preposition in, when you enter something, then the opposite kind of is this aus. So whenever you can use in, then you can also use the preposition aus. For example, was mache ich hier? What I do here? Das ist eine Colaflasche und das ist ein Kühlschrank. Ich stelle die Cola in den Kühlschrank. Ich stelle die Cola in den Kühlschrank. I put the Coke into the fridge. Now here we have the preposition in, which is a Wechselpräposition, a two-way preposition, meaning you can use either accusative or dative case. And here it's in blue, it's in accusative. Why? Because it's a change of place. We have the bottle in place A and we put it into place B. It's a movement, therefore you have to use accusative. If you don't know about Wechselpräpositionen, we have a very good video here on top in the cards, explained everything in detail about two-way prepositions. So second situation, what I'm doing here. We still have the Coke and the fridge, but I'm taking the Coke out of the fridge. Auf Deutsch, ich nehme die Cola aus dem Kühlschrank. Ich nehme die Cola aus dem Kühlschrank. I take the bottle out of the fridge. And here you see aus is in green because aus always requires a dative case. Kühlschrank is masculine, therefore aus dem Kühlschrank. So again, to recap, if you can put something somewhere in, you can also take it out. So then in is the preposition in, and the opposite is this out, is the preposition aus, auf Deutsch. Another example. Das ist ein Supermarkt. Of course, you can say, ich gehe in den Supermarkt. Ich gehe in den Supermarkt. I go into the supermarket. Again, Akkusativ in. You can also say, of course, when you're leaving, ich gehe aus dem Supermarkt. Ich gehe aus dem Supermarkt. Oder ich komme aus dem Supermarkt. I go out of the supermarket. I come out of the supermarket. So again, we're talking here about the building. You can go in, therefore you can also go out or leave, and therefore you have to use the preposition aus. Let's go to the next preposition, von. And von is just this from, usually. And von is used when we are coming from people, activities, or stores that refer to a brand name. More about this just in a second. But in general, anything which you cannot enter. You cannot enter. You cannot go into a person physically, right? So anything you cannot enter, therefore you have to use this von. Zum Beispiel, ich komme von Lisa oder ich komme von Tim oder ich komme von Lisa und Tim. This means I'm coming from their place. Ich komme von Lisa, I'm coming from Lisa's house. I'm coming from Lisa's place. Ich komme von Tim und Lisa, I'm coming from Tim and Lisa's place. Ich komme vom Friseur. Very common use this from together with professions. Friseur is a hairdresser, the one who cuts your hair. Ich komme vom Friseur, I'm coming from the hairdresser. Ich komme von der Ärztin. Ich komme von der Ärztin, I'm coming from the doctor. From the female doctor, Ärztin. That's my Dativ, von der. Ich komme vom Sport oder ich komme vom Einkaufen. Those are both two activities. Therefore you have to use von. Ich komme von Aldi oder ich komme von Lidl. Aldi and Lidl, if you live in Germany or somewhere else in Europe, you probably know these names. Very famous big supermarket chains all over Germany and also other countries in Europe. And again here, this is a name. This is the name of the store. Therefore, we usually also use this von. Ich komme von Aldi oder ich komme von Lidl. And don't forget, this vom is the combination of the preposition von and the definite dative article dem. Masculine and neuter. Dem. So von dem is vom. And here as well, I want to give you another way kind of to help you memorize it. Von is the opposite of. An, auf, zu und bei. Now these are all prepositions. Again, a lot maybe, so maybe it's easier to say, okay, kind of everything except in or nach. In, we just had before, right? You say, ich stelle die Cola in den Kühlschrank. This nach is used for countries and cities. Ich gehe nach Deutschland, ich gehe nach Berlin. Ich komme aus Deutschland, ich komme aus Berlin. But for the other prepositions here, this an, auf, zu und bei, kind of there is the opposite, is when then you can use this von. So zum Beispiel, machen wir ein Beispiel. Ich habe hier ein Glas und einen Tisch. And I put the glass on the table. Auf Deutsch ist das, ich stelle das Glas auf den Tisch. Ich stelle das Glas auf den Tisch. I put the glass on the table. Here again, auf eine Wechselpräposition, a two-way preposition, change of place, movement, therefore it's accusative. What about this situation? Kind of the opposite. I take the glass from the table. I take the glass from the table. Auf Deutsch, ich nehme das Glas vom Tisch. Ich nehme das Glas vom Tisch. I take the glass from the table. Vom ist von dem Dativpräposition. So again, kind of the opposite is von. This is auf, the preposition auf. We used before the preposition auf. The opposite is von. You take something, you put something on something, you take something from something, then you have to use von. Another example. A conversation between the woman and this man. Die Frau sagt oder fragt, wo warst du gestern? Wo warst du gestern? Where were you yesterday? Und der Mann sagt, gestern war ich am Strand. Gestern war ich am Strand. Yesterday I was at the beach. Und die Frau sagt, ich komme gerade vom Strand. Ich komme gerade vom Strand. I just got back from the beach. Here again in this situation, you see there is this am Strand. So first we look at the location. Strand is not really a building. It's not a closed location. You cannot go into the beach, right? You can go to the beach. So therefore it's not a building. So therefore we use the preposition von. And the other way to memorize it is because we use the preposition an. Ich war am Strand. It's the preposition an plus the definite article dem, am Strand. So therefore you cannot use aus. You have to use the preposition vom. So ich gehe an den Strand, I go to the beach. Ich gehe an den Strand und ich komme vom Strand. Ich komme vom Strand, I come from the beach. Another example. Again, the supermarket. So you know already you can go into, ich gehe in den Supermarkt. And we also know you can go and you leave the supermarket. You can leave the supermarket. Ich gehe oder ich komme aus dem Supermarkt. Now, you can also say, ich komme vom Supermarkt. Ich komme vom Supermarkt. I'm coming from the supermarket. Both are correct again, but what is the difference? So, when we use ich komme vom Supermarket oder vom Supermarkt, this means I was at the supermarket not too long ago. Maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, half hour max. But I'm not there anymore. Maybe I'm home. Maybe I'm at the office. Maybe I'm at the university. But I'm not nearby. I was there a couple minutes before, but I'm not close there anymore. When we say ich komme aus dem Supermarkt, this literally means I'm coming out of the supermarket right now. Ich komme aus dem Supermarkt. I'm maybe standing 2-3 meters in front of the supermarket and I'm just left it. I just left it. So you're right in front of the building still, or very close by. So this is the difference. And both again are correct, but it depends on the situation when you use it. If you're not sure, use von. Why? Because it's definitely more common used. The situation, just time-wise, right, is like if you are just leaving the supermarket, it's not that common used. It's like somebody calls you, hey, where are you? Oh, I'm just leaving the supermarket. Then aus, ich gehe aus dem, oder ich komme aus dem Supermarkt. But more common used is this von, because it's also a longer time duration. Ein Beispiel. Das ist die Oma und ein Junge und die Oma fragt, wo bist du? Wo bist du? Sie fragt den Jungen, wo bist du? Where are you? Und er sagt, ich komme gerade aus dem Supermarkt. Ich komme gerade aus dem Supermarkt. This means I just came out of the supermarket. He is most probably standing right in front of the door when he picks up the phone and answers this question. And here I put this gerade in yellow. Why? Because we often use this together with this aus. When you want to emphasize that you just left this building or just left this area, then we use this gerade. You can also put it in the question to emphasize. So, wo bist du gerade? Wo bist du gerade? Where are you right now? Ich komme gerade aus dem Supermarkt. I'm just leaving, or I just came out of the supermarket. So this gerade is very common added to these questions if you want to emphasize that you mean like right now. Now, of course, you can also use it for other buildings. And this is this problem, but it's not only for supermarket. You can use it kind of for any building. You can say, ich komme von der Uni. Ich komme von der Uni. I come from the university. But again, you're not there anymore. You're probably at home already. But the last place you were was the university. Or ich komme gerade aus der Uni. Ich komme gerade aus der Uni. I just got out of the university. And this means you are literally standing in front of the university, in front of the door, and you just left 2 seconds ago. And again, this works for other buildings as well. Bonustipp. Made of. One thing I didn't mention before with the preposition aus is this made of. Because we also use this for this translation. Der Tisch ist aus Holz. Der Tisch ist aus Holz. The table is made of wood. Oder meine Lampe ist aus Metall. Meine Lampe ist aus Metall. My lamp is made of metal. So whenever you're describing an object and you want to say what kind of material it is made of, then we also use the preposition aus plus the material, no article. Hausaufgaben. You have homework, which is to answer this question. Wo kommst du her? Wo kommst du her? Now, I never used this question before, right? So just a little explanation. Herkommen is a separable verb and is often used instead of this woher kommst du. Woher kommst du we usually use when we ask for somebody's origin. Ich komme aus der Schweiz, ich komme aus Deutschland, ich komme aus Brasilien. Aber wo kommst du her is more common used in spoken language and saying, okay, where were you just before? Kind of this question. So you have to answer this question down in the comments. You can say, ich komme vom Einkaufen, ich komme vom Sport, ich komme aus dem Supermarkt, ich komme von meiner Mutter, ich komme aus dem Kino, whatever you want. Let me know where you were before you started to watch this video. Where were you? Let me know down in the comments. And if you want to review or if you don't know much about Wechselpräpositionen yet, you definitely have to watch this video here. Two-way prepositions explained in detail. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen. I hope you learned something. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss und bye bye.